Hello everyone and welcome. This is the Silent K and today we're going to be playing some MekHQ. We are starting off almost exactly where we left last time. Let's see, there was something I was messing around with besides the first topic that I'm about to, yes. Thank you, Varank. I didn't have much of a chance. I've been going pretty hectic these last 30 minutes or so. So earlier today, we remembered that last week we are joined now by Jacoby Campaignen. Is it Campaignen or Campainen? I'm going to go with Campainen until I hear otherwise. So yes, Lark has approached Captain Murdoch and offered his services. He brings with him a custom hunchback, oops, clicked twice because it took a second, which can be seen here. Standard movement profile, normal 200 engine, double heat sinks, near max armor. I think it drops 3 heat sinks to add 2 medium lasers and some armor, and I don't recall if the 4G Hunchback has 1 or 2 tons of ammo, but this one also adds case. So hopefully that'll add to some survivability, even if it does lose the ammo in the left torso, or if it loses the right torso, it should still have, 3 medium lasers and a small that it can bring to bear. I had been discussing on in the Discord how to organize our lance at this point, because the Marianas lance, which we currently have, is max tonnage for deployable lance, and now we have 50 extra tons that I would like to try to squeeze in there. For right now, the plan is to replace Vernita in the Mark II Archer, which is the one with single heat sinks and 2 medium lasers. And that's going to leave us with 360 tons, which is still pretty close to max tonnage, which I'm fine with. But further down the line, we do have, I counted, 11 of these guys are pretty much ready to roll. The exceptions being the Jenner, which is missing a cockpit, and the legs. The Hermes technically is ready to roll, but with an autocannon 5 and 2 medium lasers, it feels very undergunned to me. This Hunchback obviously is missing the center torso. This one also needs some work. Needs an arm, needs the leg put back on, needs a cockpit, lots of armor, internal damage, stuff like that. The Cronus, which is also missing its right torso, a little bit of internal damage, mostly armor. The Wolverine is also in good shape, but again, like the Hermes, for a 55 tonner, it just doesn't have the damage output I'd like to see. Even if it hits with everything and all the missiles, that's still only 22 points. Although I do like its movement profile, I feel like it could be slightly better armored, but it is what it is. The Rifleman currently being retrofitted, I think we're going with the 4N variant on this one, which is basically a double heat sink and armor upgrade for this guy. Wait, the 4N, let me just double check that. Oh no, it's a Mark II upgrade, so that is, I think, just the double heat sinks. So it's still going to be pretty under armored, but at least it'll be able to use, the majority of its guns each turn. The Guillotine that we had just ordered, nice solid 70 tonner, good damage output, good armor, good mobility for its size, good heat sinks, very solid mech. We do have, of course, the Mark III Archer, which needs a little bit of repairs right now, double heat sinks, LRMs, 4 medium lasers. The Mark II, which is also not badly damaged, but slightly undergunned in exchange for the heat sinks, which lets it use the missiles every turn. We've got the Orion, currently just a little bit of ammo damage. If you'll recall, we dropped the LRM-15 down to a 10 so that we could fit 3 extra heat sinks on it, so that it can use the lasers and the SRMs consistently. Hoser's Ride, of course, which is the double heat sink Awesome, which adds a large laser and some mediums, which is definitely a solid performer. We do have the 2 Stalkers, one of which needs a head and its arm replaced, but that's relatively minor work. This one, obviously the one we've been using, just needs some armor damage or some armor repaired. The Emperor, the Xanthos, and the Mackie are all primitive variants, and those are going to need an overhaul before I really consider them combat ready. And the Atlas, of course, which does have the serious damage to the right arm, but the only thing in that right arm is that one laser. So I haven't gone to the trouble of replacing that right arm because we can't repair it. We failed the roll too badly. So we do have several options for how to build our lances. And it won't be pressing until we finish this contract. As a matter of fact, I would like to hold off until we finish this contract because right now we're only required to have one lance in combat. We're only getting paid to have one lance in combat, and that means that adding a lance is going to increase our liability without increasing our payout. So I do want to have a second lance at least online for our next contract. But in the meantime, we do still have, 44 days left in this contract. And for the duration of this month, another 26 days, we are going to be having a base attack defender mission every week by the rules, because the enemy has been rolling very well on their morale. They are now considered invincible. Oh, hey Lark, how's it going? I hope I have represented you well. So speaking of Lark, let's see, mech warriors. Lark is, in addition to being a mech warrior, he is also his own technician. He is actually assigned to the Hunchback in the capacity of a mech warrior and in the capacity of a technician. You may notice over here, if I can find it. Yes, let me just expand this out. Yes, assigned to Jacoby, is it Campaignin or Campaignin? I said I was going to say Campaignin, but I trust you'll let me know if I'm saying it wrong. And the tech crew is also Lieutenant Junior Grade Jacoby Campaignin. So he is not currently assigned to the Lance. I was planning, like I said, on replacing Vernita, who is the most junior of our personnel who are currently assigned, being that she is a 4-4. Frederick French, also a 4-4, but that is Wyvern, who doesn't generally join us in chat, but he is occasionally in the Discord, and I do chat with him on the side a little bit about what happens on YouTube, which is when he catches us. So, as always, we appreciate the support and the community-ness. We've got Fred Jones, aka Hoser, who is a veteran pilot with the PPC specialist. Petra is the most skilled of the initial Lance, aside from Murdoch, who is going to be joining us consistently. And if once we split into two Lances, it's probably going to be Murdoch and 2 or 3 of my chatters. First way, Campaignin. All right, gotcha. So that I'm glad I got that right. I'm probably gonna have Murdoch with 3 other pilots, and that's probably going to be 1 or 2 of you guys, and probably Petra, and then for the other Lance, it'll probably be headed up by one of these veterans. Honestly, either Petra, or maybe Hoser, or this guy who we hired in April, but haven't assigned a mech to yet, mainly because we're lacking in technical expertise, what with 2 veteran, 4 regulars, and a green mech tech. So yeah, that is our limiting factor. As soon as this contract is over, I'm going to hire as many technicians as possible. Speaking of which, there was something I wanted to do in particular, and that was Hikari Ono, being an administrator, has the elite administrative skill. Jacoby, is that right? Well, we now have an elite HR administrator. The fact that he is also ordering our parts for us is irrelevant. So yes, that will help hire as many mech techs as possible as soon as this contract is over. But first, we've got some repairs to do and probably a mission that hopefully we can finish tonight. Starting with the ones that are in the transport bay. Starting with, yeah, let's go ahead and have Loney start working on those. Because those are fives. Fives are easy. And she is close to, well, close-ish. 6 more XP, she'll be a veteran. And that will be super helpful. So we'll have B doing the reloading. We've got threes. No, we don't need threes. We can rock a 6 for 5 points. I'm not worried about losing 5 points of armor. We can go normal on that one. Down to 225 minutes. We can go normal on that one. Cool. And for 50 more minutes on a 6, let's do it. Nope. We lost 10 points of armor. Big deal. And then, of course, the Stalker. His logistical secret uses a high-end Japanese fountain pen on all his forms. Yes, he gets a bonus for using masterwork items. Now, that's D&D reference for anyone that doesn't play. Okay, so Chris, we finally got a job for you. I do want this fixed right the first time. And if that means spending, what is that, 4.5 hours on it? We'll spend 4.5 hours on it. Oh, dang it. I had Veronica doing all those repairs. I wanted it to be Loney because Loney has more XP. And then I was going to give Veronica the bigger jobs because they're worth fewer XP in the long run. So we'll give B what is left. Cool, cool. All right. So now we can go over to status. We can take the Stalker and the Orion and we can put them in field workshops. And we can put the 2 archers into the transport bays that we have. And we can go ahead and work on those. Starting with, yes, Loney doing the little jobs and knocking them out nicely, nicely. B is our ammo person. And of course the archer also needing an arm that we don't really have the time to do anything about right now. So on a 7, it's only about a 58% chance, but oh, so close. I don't like it when we roll exactly the number we need. Like, I know that it's more efficient, I guess. It's a sign that, like, if we had tried to cut any more corners, it would have failed, but I like having just a little bit of a margin. Not like that, because we just lost 14 points of armor. Okay. Since we are so close to the end of the day, or the end of the repairs, I mean. There we go. And then, okay, so now we can take, honestly, it kind of feels a little bit tedious to just keep putting things into the transport bay, work on them for a few hours, take them out, put something else in, chalk it up to paperwork or something, I don't know. First thing, I guess, we do need, this is a 55 tenor, yeah, Cronus. I'm not actually sure which TRO the Cronus was originally in, but it's not one that I have. The Hunchback, okay, so the Hunchback, we need a left arm and some leg actuators. Let's go to locations, left arm, we do not appear to have a 50-ton left arm. Is that what it? Yeah, we've got some acquisition that needs to happen, and this actually might hold us up for a little while. So just go ahead and get a couple of those on the way. How do we not have a single cockpit? Sorry, I've been playing my side game, and we're much better equipped. We do not usually have this problem. I've got like 4 spares of every limb, 4 spares of every actuator, probably 20 cockpits in storage. But again, that's a late 3049. Blame the employer for not having enough resources. Look, those mech hoists for all they're worth. Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, it would have been easier as a player to just put everything in the transport bay, which is what I usually do, and then just do all the repairs in the transport bay and then sort it out instead of going back and forth and doing all the paperwork, I guess I would call it. So, let's see, that was hand, lower arm, upper arm, and foot. Okay, all handled. And then we do also have, apparently I missed this one. Okay, so how long is it going to take for those to come in? We've got 2 days on 1 day on the hand actuator, 4 days on the lower arm, 6 days on the cockpit. I might just order another one of those. We've got the upper arm in 1 day, foot actuator in 2 days, left arm in 4 days. You know what, actually, since we do, is it worth a bonus part? That is potentially a very expensive XL engine I could use those bonus parts on, but yeah, I'm gonna hold off. I don't think it's exactly high priority that we get all of this stuff done today. I don't mind waiting for parts. So in the meantime, we will have, can we do an even 60 for Veronica? I see 25, 20, 70, 75, 90. Save bonus parts for XL engine? Yeah. Those are potentially, you know, like $4 or $5 million pieces. So we've got a 45, we got another 20, so 220. Yeah, we've got 320s, so we can have Veronica. Okay, that's going to be a 40 and a 20. Well, she got one of them at least. B, who is kind of next in line for veteran status, and who currently also has more time than anyone else. 55, so we do this, and we just need a 30 to round that out, so I'm looking for a 30 and a 10, not a 40, sadly. Let's just see what we can find for that. 100, there's 30. And we got it, all right. And now we've got one tech with still the full day ahead of her. Let's see what we've got. We've got left arm. Yeah, this is gonna take a whole day and then some, but that's fine. And then Chris can also do one of the bigger jobs. Like, for example, repairing a center torso, which we definitely want the 4 lower on, because otherwise that damage becomes permanent. So, yep, that is that. And yeah, Loni, you can start working on that and finish that up tomorrow. All right, so that, just to make sure everybody, yeah, nobody unassigned, no parts needing to be worked on, no tanks or anything for our mechanics to work on. The Xanthos is not going to be finished getting mothballed tomorrow. That's going to be another couple days. The Guillotine will be finished tomorrow. Let's see, the Saracen is in purple because it needs another gunner. We've got some infantry crews that are slightly underpowered right now, but that's fine for the time being. Alright, so looks like we are ready to, oh, what is going on with that? That's under general. We've got, oh, the Cronus and the 2 hunchbacks. The Cronus and the first hunchback, the 4 SP. Didn't mean to do that. Let me just sort this out real quick, because it bothers my OCD something fierce to have these out of order. I have to know where to find them. So the 4 SP, which is inoperable, we're going to finish fixing that up. And then we're going to put it in mothballs. The salvage I'm not worried about. The Cronus, we're working on that as well. So yes, we can continue with unmaintained units. All right, so we've got 10 tons of armor, which is 160 points, which is good. We've got some actuators in. We did fix that engine we were working on. We got the left arm fixed on the Cronus. We got the center torso fixed on the Hunchback SP. The Rifleman will be done in 3 days, give or take, maybe 4-ish. And that will be before the end of the week, so that's outstanding. No, I do not want to advance another day just yet. That would be foolish. Oh, these are... I could have sworn I put those into the transport bay. So right now in the transport bay, we've got the Rifleman and really nothing else. Everything else is either, well, we'll leave Hoser's Ride in the transport bay for when it comes up for maintenance time, because I owe him for leaving the windows open last week. In the meantime, we're gonna not worry too much about the 4H Hunchback on account of its salvage, but the other two that we are fixing up, we'll go ahead and put them in so that we can start working on that. All right, so need to worry about that one last. Ah, yes, Jacoby apparently gets 180 minutes per tech day, and that actually is something that is new to me. I've never had before a mech warrior who is also a mech tech, so this is unbroken ground for me, or I know what I'm trying to say, and I hope you do too. So apparently being a mech warrior takes 300 minutes out of his day. Or no, because he's also doing maintenance. Maintenance is going to be, on a medium mech, I think is 60 or 90 minutes a day. Because I think a light is 45, I think a medium is 90, I think a heavy is 135, and I think an assault is 180 minutes per day of maintenance. So I'm not sure where the 90 minutes turns into 300 minutes, but I am glad to have another technician on the crew, and we are going to put him immediately to work. Well, not the day he got here, but you know, the next morning. I'm gonna put in some hours for us. So to start with, yes, Loney, you are closest to going up, so you get all the little jobs. That's anything at this point 60 minutes and below. So we're gonna do this one, this one. These are all pretty big jobs. That's not come in yet. All right, for the bigger jobs, we're gonna start with Veronica, and that's gonna go really quickly, 390 minutes. Yeah, it's gonna be like 5 or 6 jobs at this rate. It's 3, it's 4, 65 minutes left. That's not gonna be enough to do much of anything, so we can get started on that. All right, B is gonna be next, and she is going to start there and there, mainly with, yeah, repairing actuators is a whole lot more difficult than replacing them. I'm gonna have to go through the warehouse and make sure that we have multiples of everything that we need, because actuators are cheap. And they don't weigh anything, they don't cost anything to transport, so there is no reason not to have a couple of spares of every kind of actuator. Meanwhile, we'll have Halima, who is our most green of our regular techs, doing easier stuff like that. Or stuff that doesn't give her XP, is what I meant to say. So, can we, on a 9? Oof, no. Yeah, that's gonna be Chris, working on the SP's left torso on account of it's down to 33%. One thing I have noticed about repairing locations is that it takes longer and becomes more difficult every 25% of damage. So if it's between 75% of full hit points and 100%, then it's a quick and easy job. If it's between 50 and 75, it's more difficult. In this case, it's between 25 and 50%, which is a pretty difficult fix, but not as difficult as it can be for anyone who's less familiar with how this works. Yeah, like this one is going to be, because she needed a 5 as a veteran, so this is going to be 6 for a veteran or 7 for a regular watch. No, it was 6. Well, I had something wrong in my calculations, but yeah. Big job goes to the tech who least deserves XP. And I say deserves based on the way I play. I'm always trying to... If I've got one tech who has just become a regular and one tech who is about to become a veteran, I'm trying to advance that one to a veteran. I'm not trying to give all the XP to the one who has the fewer XP. And there are exceptions to that. Once they hit veteran, if I've got enough elites to do all the maintenance and repairs that I really need elites for, then I'll start giving my veterans edge. I'll give them 1 point before they go up to elite, but again, that's kind of situational. It really depends on like the state of the unit as a whole, and we are not there yet. Jacoby, we've got a heatsink that needs fixed, and that's going to take you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's going to take you through the weekend, so hope you don't mind there. I don't want to screw up that roll, but this one I don't mind so much, so that's going to be a couple days there. The left arm, the cockpit, it's all good. I get paid to play Legos, taking things apart and putting them back together. Yep. Alright, so we can reload that. We can salvage that. That's one for Chris. And I guess it looks like Loney is going to take the day off 5 minutes early. So I don't have a problem with giving him a 5-minute break. I don't have anything I really want him to get started on right now. So yes, I know they're unmaintained. Give me some time on that. Alright, so we've got maintenance on the Orion, which is in the field workshop at the moment. Fortunately, the cockpit goes down to quality C, which is where it started, so that could have been worse. Veronica working on the Stalker. That's kind of more what I was expecting to see with the Orion. There's a lot of red there, so that's less good. I'd like to get that back into the warehouse or the transport bay as soon as we finish fixing up these second line mechs of ours. In the meantime, though, it looks like we did finish successfully all of the things that we were working on. Rifleman in like 3 days. Yeah, okay. Xanthos is completed. Being mothballed, guillotine in another couple of days. So meantime, Chris, that's going to take you like 3 days, and there's a good chance we're going to break the torso. But okay, so heatsink is being worked on. Foot actuator. No reason not to rush. I mean, not to take our time on that. Oh, 2. Yeah, we don't need to take that much time on it. I'll give that a 4. And spend the same amount of time on it as if we hadn't messed around at all. We will have that leg hopefully back on tomorrow. And I think that's about all we can do with the parts that we have right now. Not trying to break any of these parts by working on them in a field workshop. So even though we've got some time, we are going to go ahead and move on to Friday. Alright, so right torso being worked on, got the left leg on the hunchback, we got the heatsink fixed, we got solid 2.5 days left on the rifleman, guillotine is mothballed. So, Alright, right torso tomorrow. Left leg repaired. Yeah, see, that's a 3-day job right there. So we're gonna give that there. And I'm fully prepared to have this hunchback walking around with 1 point of structure holding the leg on, because a 7 is not likely. I mean, it's less likely than I would like. It's almost 60%. And again, I mean, at this point, we might as well get started on some of this stuff. We're just salvaging. But, I mean, I do... In this kind of situation where we have an excess of time, but not enough bays, like, I don't see any reason not to... Well then, any reason not to spend as much time as we can, just, you know, getting the maximum benefit out of the things that we have salvaged. And at this point, I'm just kind of... Okay, actuators we can hold off on. Oh, that was caps lock, not shift. That's why it didn't work. And of course, we don't necessarily need any... When we take the head off, it comes with the life support and sensors, but for some reason you have to remove the cockpit before you do. So we'll have, I guess, B working on the cockpit, Veronica working on the laser, and Lark. Yeah, you can spend a couple days pulling a heatsink out. In the field. 3 hours a day in the field working on a heatsink for 3 days. Hope it doesn't rain. Alright, so we've got actuator and an arm. We got the right torso on the Cronus. Left leg is going to be another couple days. Salvage the armor. Heatsink we knew. Oh, the small laser is not going to be salvageable because we failed to roll by 3 or more. Cockpit should be, I think, tomorrow. Rifleman, day after. Or, yeah, 2 days after. Alright. So, the Cronus is almost in one piece again. It just needs the right torso armored up and lasered up, and the right arm reattached. So that's coming along splendidly. We'll have Lonnie do that. We'll have Lonnie do that. Would like Chris to do this on a 4. I don't really mind that it's going to take a couple days because we have at least until Monday, so that's bueno. Meanwhile, jump jets are actually more difficult than you might think. I don't generally have green techs messing around with jump jets, even though, you know, it kind of feels like that's the sort of thing where it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult. It's just like a component, but apparently it's more than just that. So, oh yeah, medium lasers. I was looking to see how many of those we had spare. And we have 5, so I don't care if we break 1 or 2. So we'll go ahead and have our green tech try and do that on a 6. And hey, what do you know? It worked out. And then the other one there. So, all right. So moving on to Sunday. Sorry, I know it's old and dead. More armor, more actuators, and another left arm has arrived. We're still working on getting the arm on the Cronus, but we did barely get the jump jet in. Yep, everyone gets that reference. We did also barely get that heatsink out of the hunchback, so way to go, Lark. I started to say Jacoby, sorry, and then I switched it to Lark and it came out Jark. Okay, we've got the Rifleman in 2 days. Upgrade a mech, but you don't have enough techs. Yeah. That's actually, now that we have a green tech free, we could actually get started on something slightly bigger, like an upgrade. Ooh, Ooh, where do we start though? We could pull this stalker out of storage and start putting the head back on it. That's not a green tech kind of job though. We could start upgrading the Mackie, the Xanthos, or the Emperor. Those are all primitive. It's going to take forever to get the armor and everything swapped out on those. The guillotine is fine the way it is. The Mark II Archer we're using. The Rifleman's being refitted. The Wolverine is a candidate for a refit. It could really use. Let me just. Okay, we'll go ahead and have our green tech spend the day doing that. And I just want to look at something. Let's look at what refit kits are available, and you'll notice there are several customs here, and those are the ones that I'm going to be looking at. We'll start with the ones that are easiest, the Mark II, which I need to refresh my own memory here. Does just drop a heatsink and adds, does it add SRM ammo? No. Oh, and a second medium laser. So that, actually, we can knock that out relatively quickly. We'd still be able to alpha strike without overheating, so we just have to worry about our movement heat, whereas this one produces 8 heat, jumps for 5, so it only builds up 1 heat when it jumps and alpha strikes, which is a little excessive on the heat sinking to me. I would rather have the medium laser. That way we can still put out, you know, the autocannon, the SRMs, and 1 medium laser, same as the original, would build up 2 points of heat if we jumped our full distance, which is not bad. But then if we don't jump, we still have an extra medium laser. So 6 MA. Oof, that is a big job. That is endo steel. That's an ER laser. That's double heat sinks. I'm not arguing against the battle value, but that is 30,000 minutes. If we figure 1,000 minutes per 2 days, that is 60 days before we even roll, and we're gonna fail the roll. So that is 120 days. That is a 4-month refit. Whereas we can drop a heat sink and add a medium laser in a matter of a couple days. So yeah, the MA with its endo steel and double heat sinks, ER large, 2 medium pulses, and an SRM 6. Or we've got my personal variant here, the Mark V. Does upgrade to an XL engine, upgrades to double heat sinks and endo steel, max armor or near enough, upgrades the autocannon to an LB-10X, and adds a medium laser and 2 medium pulses to its initial loadout. So I'm a fan of that one. We've got this one here, which also has the XL engine and the double heat sinks, but not the endo steel. Doesn't have quite as many lasers, still has the LBX and the extra medium and a medium pulse. And this one, you'll notice, is only 19,000 minutes, which is, 40 days before the roll, and so about 80 days total. But in the meantime, the Mark II Intro Tech Class D maintenance refit, we can, I mean, there is nothing stopping us from doing this. We won't get any work done on it today, but at least we'll get started on it. And it will only take a couple of days. So for now, we're doing that. Because that is kind of like the basis, the starting point of all of my other preferred variants of the Wolverine is more lasers. Because especially with double heat sinks, lasers are pretty overpowered. Some people would say to a fault. I disagree. I personally like the fact that Battletech with double heat sinks kind of promotes the lots of lasers kind of play style. I don't have a problem with lots of lasers. It's a balance thing. If you make autocannons more useful, by, say, like making them weigh less or do more damage, as a lot of people seem to think is a good idea. That just makes certain designs more desirable because they have autocannons, whereas the way I play, the designs with more lasers are more desirable. So, Jacoby, you're going to start on that heatsink. And then we've got an arm that we can have not on an 8. I want at least a 7 on that. I'm sorry. And I know I've said before that arms and actuators are cheap parts, and there's no reason not to have several. We all lift together. That's just not a good roll. I don't like it. What we can do, medium laser. Yeah, we can start salvaging some heat sinks. That's no big deal. It's worth XP if nothing else. All right. And coming into Monday, we are going to have at least one battle this week. Maybe more. Yep. They are 2 days apart from each other. We've got a base attack defender followed almost immediately by a probe mission. The probe mission shouldn't be too difficult. The base attack defender possibly will. We've got a regular mechanic. We are going to hire you without even looking twice. 2 standard cockpits have arrived, which is cool. That means we can start putting one of them into a hunchback. Speaking of which, okay, we've got 2 days before our mission starts. We've got the arm on the Cronus, medium laser on the Cronus, heatsink out of the hunchback. Failed to get the cockpit out of the hunchback the first time. That kind of stinks because that's a 1,200 minute job. We did get the heatsink in the Cronus, so does that mean the Cronus is... Yes. So the Cronus is 100% back and fighting trim. And actually, I mean, I know I was talking about the Wolverine being improved with medium lasers. This one takes it a step further. It replaces the autocannon with a large laser. We've got 2 medium lasers and 2 fewer SRMs. But crucially, it can actually use the large laser and 2 of the medium lasers in one turn. This is not a bad mech. I do kind of need to get it into mothballs right now because it's not... bigger is better. We all know this. There's exceptions. Some mechs punch above their weight class, if you will. Like, I would say a Jenner is probably worth its probably 1.5 times its weight in medium mechs, largely because of its maneuverability. But in this case, would I take a Cronus over, say, an Archer or an Orion? The answer is a hard no. Gonna have to go with bigger is better on this one, and we will... yeah, we'll go ahead and line up our green tech to start doing that. And it's gonna be a couple days because green tech is working on the Wolverine. Speaking of which, the Rifleman, how close are we on that? 2 days. I must have missed the message where we rolled because I feel like it was 2 days more than 2 days ago, and we're still at 2 days. So, we still have 2 days till our next mission. If I say that phrase one more time, I'm going to lose my... I'm going to lose it. Alright, now we've got 2 cockpits on hand and one kind of still in this guy. Can we... That's a 200,000 C-bill part. It's better than 50-50, but I don't like doing a coin flip on part that's expensive. Fingers crossed. Yeah. All right. All right. So that went remarkably well. I'm very happy with that. And you know what? Oof, I don't know. I do not know. Meantime, well, we can't change the sight on that. It's just going to have to sit in the transport bay on the screen, but it's not actually going to be in the transport bay, if you follow me. So that bay is going to be instead occupied by the salvage hunchback, which we can now try and get Where's the cockpit? Cockpit. Yes. All right. On a 5 or better. So very, very slim chance of breaking it, but you know, could still technically happen. But in the transport bay, at least we're much better equipped to deal with that kind of job. And we can start salvaging some of these actuators, getting some good XP without going over time on our techs. Okay, and Jacoby, we can get started on that foot actuator, finish that up tomorrow. We can have B will do ammo bins for now. Yeah, we're not worried about too much about failing that on a 5. And then Chris can get started on a heatsink. Cool. So the Hunchback is coming apart quite nicely. Cockpit in a couple days, most everything else tomorrow. And then the day after that we'll have our battle, and we want to be fresh and ready for that. Let me just double check. Okay, all of Mariana's Lance is in the white except for the Archer with the busted arm. I'm okay with that. Daily log. We've got the foot actuator came in, we got the heatsink out. We didn't get the ammo bin out, but at least we didn't ruin our chances. Still working on the cockpit. Foot actuator's out, good job. Rifleman in 2 days. Wolverine tomorrow. Cronus 2 days after the Wolverine, because that's the same tech. So, meantime, let's go ahead and get some parts off of this Hunchback in case we ever end up needing them for the other Hunchback. We'll have Chris start working on the damaged leg, which takes longer and is more difficult. We'll have B can start on that one. That'll be 70 minutes out of tomorrow's time. I'm okay with that. Loney on the medium laser should work out evenly. Veronica can spend 70 minutes of tomorrow's. You know what? It's a heatsink. There's what, 6,000 C-bills. Start on that. Jacoby starting on the ammo bin, spending a little bit of tomorrow's time. But 20 minutes isn't enough time to start anything, and I don't want to commit to too much for tomorrow because we are going to have some repairs. So, I think that is just about it. Alright, oh, light field gunners has been deployed. That, no. Yeah, no, we are not sending our light field gunners, which is a 10 and 3 5s. Well, platoons. That's what, 3 autocannon 10s and I want to say 9 autocannon 5s altogether, but we're not sending that against 8,000 points. Sorry, 17,000 points worth of. That's a Phoenix Hawk, Hunchback, Trebuchet, Griffin, Stinger, Hetzer, Jolson, Assassin, Rifleman, Crusader, Bulldog, LRM Carrier, another Hunchback, a 4H and a 4G, a Wolverine, Griffin, and an Orion. Oh. But we need to actually assign you to the Lance. There we go. All right. So we've got custom camo on Hoser. We've got custom camo on Lark. So we can tell them apart more easily. I don't have custom camo for Wyvern. Wyvern, when you see this, feel free to hit me up and let me know if you'd like some custom camo, or I can find something for you if you'd like. The mech warrior that can fix what he breaks. Yes, I like that idea. All the mech warriors should take mech tech. The first couple points of mech tech are pretty cheap, but if you've got a mech warrior with 20 XP, I have got something else I want to spend that on. Whether that's putting it towards gunnery or piloting, like 5 or 10 points after a certain point. Like once you're a veteran pilot, you know, you need 20 points to improve anything. I don't mind spending 5 or 10 on tech. If you're going to be a lance leader, though, that's going to be even harder because then you've got strategy and tactics and leadership to worry about. 5 or 10 points, I can deal with that. But once you become like a regular level mech tech, I've got something more important than making you a veteran mech tech. Oh yeah, you look cool. Yep. Speaking of which, Lark did on the Discord send me a copy. Actually, he posted it in the channel, so anyone who wants can join the Discord and get this picture if they want. But if French or Jones or anyone else would like to join the group with their own custom artwork for a pick, custom camo for their mech, custom variant for their mech, all you have to do is literally approach Captain Murdoch Belfry and say, hey, I brought a mech, or hey, do you have a mech I can borrow? I can pilot it. At this point, I'm not allowing people to start with elite level pilots. Once I have other pilots who are better than elite, we could maybe consider that, but for now, anything from veteran to green is on the table. So if you'd like to join the game, all you have to do is say, hey, I would like to pilot a mech. If you have one I can pilot, sure, we do. We have a few mechs. So yeah, that is how that works for the time being. Meantime, we came over here so that we could deploy these guys because it didn't happen automatically. Yes, Lark did post a full dump of, it was an Imgur, album, of all the MechWarrior 5 portraits. So if there's one of those that you would like your character to look like, just let me know which one. We can make that happen. If you have a picture of something else, if you would like it to be an icon that you came up with or something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be a face even. Restrictions apply. No like nudity or graphic or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, if you just want your image to be like your coat of arms, if you have one, for example, that's fine too. It will, if anything, just make you even easier to spot in the list. So we've got our autocannons, we've got our combat lance, we've got an assassin who is probably going to fall down at some point if he takes any damage. Oh, we have a heck of a pilot in a Clint. Honestly, I wouldn't mind putting that pilot in, say, the Dervish. Can we drop those into Megamech? Yeah. Actually, I can... Okay, so when you download and install Megamech, you'll end up with a folder like this. It won't have the autosaves in it at the time, but you just go to Data, Images, Portraits, and you just... That's where it is. You put it there, and it'll show up. It will show up. Change portrait, and it'll be, I want to say it was, yeah, it's right here. The other file that you saw in that folder was default. That's this image. And then there's all of these that come packaged with 48. And actually, I've been playing a lot of 49, which comes with an entirely fresh set of portraits. Actually, wait. No, it was 48 that came with all of these portraits. 46 has some older portraits. And actually, I could maybe show you some of them. Oh. Yeah. different builds of MekHQ have come with different portraits. Some of them look a little older and grainier. Some of them weren't packaged, those weren't packaged with 48, but I copied them over from 46 to 48 and from 48 to 49. So now I've got the 46 portraits in my 49 folder, so that like the people that I've been playing in the older version still have their original portraits. Yeah. And again, if you'd like to sorry, wrong Frederick. Yeah, if you would like to update your portrait with something different, just let me know. I would be happy to do that for you. So we are an hour in. I don't know if we're going to finish this mission tonight, but we are trying to protect an LRM dump truck, construction mech. That's probably a primitive Wolverine. That's a primitive Orion. 1K is the standard variant. We've got some turrets that we're going to be protecting. And again, we did already look at all of these. That Rifleman, didn't look at all of these. Rifleman Crusader, LRM carrier. I'm glad those things are fragile because that's 60 LRM. So we've got the 4H Hunchback, 6R Wolverine, a Griffin, and the 1K Orion. Dusk, Dawn, Light, Snowfall. Do we want it to be Dusk or Dawn? Generally, I make that decision based on whether I've got better gunnery skills than the opponent. Because, again, the closer you can get your target numbers to 7 or lower, while still keeping theirs at 7 or above, or 8 or above, the better off you're going to be. Orion pilots are good on all the Orions. 3-3 over here, and a 3-6 on our side. So 3-6, I mean, that's a total of 9 points, which is the same as a 4-5. That's a regular pilot. He's a decent shot. He's going to be easy to knock over. Dusk, Dawn, Light, Snowfall. The Snowfall is definitely going to work against us because they've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mechs are going to get heat bonuses for that. We're going to have one, not counting that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we can rock the Snowfall. All right, let's do this. I think I'm going to, I want to look at the map first. View game board. Let's see what we're looking at. So this is awfully hilly, but if we're starting in the center defending this base, that's not bad. Actually, I kind of want to make it more daylight so that we can see them from further off. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Wait, not map, planetary. Yes, we're going to make it daylight, light, snowfall. So we're going to have some visibility issues, but hopefully not too bad. Go ahead and maximize that. Compact display, as I like to do. There are some differences. I've been playing a lot of 49.2 specifically with StratCon. And there are some differences between the most current version of MekHQ, or the development version of MekHQ, that I would like to bring to your attention. First of all, in 49, you can sort by BV. And you can either do a complete BV sort, or you can sort within teams by BV. So it would have like all of, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see my screen, like it would have all of our mechs sorted by BV, then it would have the base civilian units sorted by BV, and then it would have the base turrets sorted by BV, and so on. It also would have little icons here that still shows a smaller version of what each one looks like. There's a lot of quality of life improvements, is what I'm trying to say. It's still in alpha, so don't expect it to necessarily work all the time correctly. And the Stinger did not go through. You know what? I really am hard pressed to care right now. I suppose I'll fix it. Or you know what? Why do these guys even have LAMs? I don't know. All right. So that is Sabrina, my yellow, 4-5, Stinger, A5. All right. So we'll go ahead and get that sorted out and go through the rest of everything that needs to be sorted out. From my experience in Gundam Tech, the AI doesn't really know how to use LAMs as well. And I'm fine with that. The only thing is that just removing the mech entirely from their force seems a little not quite right. Oh, I did not notice which force that was on. That was just enemy. Okay, Free Worlds League, Force 1. Okay. So, add combat unit. First thing, so I don't forget, Free Worlds League, Force 1. And we can search for A5, should come up, yeah. And we will select and close. That was there. And configure. That was Sabrina. Yellow. Alright, targeting or piloting and gunnery looks right. Okay, that was actually not that difficult. Another thing that 49 does is it, or at least the way I'm running it right now, which is the default settings, it shows little armor pips. And I think each pip represents 10 points of armor, but it'll show each location, and they start off green and turn red, or yellow and red as it takes damage. So that's kind of a quick and easy at a glance, how much damage and where is this mech damaged kind of thing. Also, the weapons, those didn't show up when I first started using 48. Those didn't start showing up until I upgraded to 49. So if you're still using 48 and you don't have 49 installed, let me know if you have access to those, or if that's just because there's like a config file somewhere that got tweaked when I installed 49, because that's interesting to me. So we've got a melee specialist, sensor geek. Okay, we do not allow natural aptitude, as we have mentioned before. Because honestly, as much as I say that I trust the RNG in this game, I don't feel like I always see the change with the 3 dice quirks or perks or advantages, or however you want to call them. Natural aptitude piloting on a rocket launcher turret. Also, range master. What range are we looking at for this one? Oh, that's right. Turret pilots don't actually show quirks on the configuration screen, so there is no way to actually do anything about that. And even if I wanted to, say, swap pilots with a different unit and then adjust the quirks there, it'll only let me switch pilots with someone on the same team, and those are all turrets anyway. So that's no-go. Alright, so, yeah, I kind of miss being able to sort by BV, so you can just see at a glance who your big dudes are, who your little dudes are. There's also a third tab up here for team view in the development build, where it tells you like the combined Team 1 battle value and tonnage and cost, and the combined Team 2. So it just... Again, it's just one of those little quality of life things that I appreciate and kind of miss when I play 48. But being that it is alpha at this point with StratCon and everything, I don't want to go live and broadcast that in case it gets glitchy or breaks or something like that. And also because I would want to get permission from the devs before I started, putting their alpha stuff out there. I encourage you to check it out for yourself. It is great. It is fabulous. But I don't want to go and publish something online that they haven't approved yet. Whereas this being the stable build is something that they have said, look, we're ready to publish this. This is done. Or at least, it's not an alpha anymore. Yeah. There are a bunch of really cool things in 49. And StratCon, as I'm getting more and more used to it and figuring out how it works, I did run into one problem that really frustrated me with StratCon. And that is that based on your unit rating, it will adjust the enemy's BV. So the Fighting Bulldogs, my side game, have finished 17 missions successfully. So that's worth 85 points towards their rating. So they are an A+ rated unit, which means that they're fighting, every fight is like a 50% bonus multiplier for the enemies. So I had to go and bug them quite a bit before they reminded me that there is actually here under campaign options. I don't know if it's, yeah. So I just came here and added negative 85 points to counteract the bonus that I was getting for my unit's successful history. And I was frustrated by that very much until I figured that out. But it's gotten a little bit easier since then. It's not easy mode. I would call it more like fair mode, because fighting the clans when they've got a 50% BV advantage over you is just impossible. All right. So that said, we've got 4 units of field gunners, we've got 5 mechs, and it decided to alternate them like this because it wants to make my life difficult. We've got a friendly assassin who's technically on our team, and we've got a bunch of civilian and primitive mechs that are on our team but not under our control, as well as these 6 turrets. The medium laser turret could come in handy, the LRM-5 turret could come in handy, the sniper turret, that being artillery, is going to be a double-edged sword. That is going to hit us at least once by the end of this battle, I promise you. Let's see, Federated Commonwealth is our team, so we do also have all of these guys. Let's see if we can, yeah, we can do that. Makes it a little bit easier to tell what's what. And then, who do we need to worry about on the enemy side? It looks like this Orion is the big dude. 3-3 in a standard 1K Orion. Followed by, it looks like a 3-4 in a Griffin. And that is multitasker, so he can multi-target for 1 less penalty. So if they're in the same arc, that's no penalty at all. We also need to watch out for, it looks like this Hunchback 4G with a 3-5, and this other Griffin with a 4-5. And after that, it starts dropping off pretty sharply. We've got several 1,000 point dudes. But yeah, that Orion and the Griffin number 64 are the ones we really need to watch out for. What's the other Griffin? 74 is the one we need to be less worried about, but still one of their big dudes. Alright, we have 1 initiative for deployment phase, and, well, Team 1 has 1 initiative for deployment phase. Within Team 1, we only beat the turrets. So, and I've found sometimes that actually it's more important whether you beat your teammates than the enemy, if you've got a bunch of teammates. Alright, so, field gunners, kind of want them, oof, this is a big chunky map. So we've got a Phoenix Hawk down here, and we've got a Rifleman up here. Riflemans have paper armor. Ooh, we've got some rough here. It's not as good as Woods, but it does keep us from being in the open, which is double damage. It doesn't make us harder to hit, but it does keep us from taking the double damage. So that, I think, is a good place for some autocannon 5 dudes. Alright. All of our field gunners are going to die because snow apparently is death. We're going to exit out of this. We're going to reopen it. We're going to re-add that stinger, and we have a choice, guys. Do we undeploy the field gunners, or do we get rid of the snow? We have to do one or the other. I don't want to do both because we do have that mech advantage, I think, where the heat penalty, the heat reduction is going to benefit us more than the enemy. But is that more of a benefit than the field gunners would be? I think I'd rather have the field gunners and no snow than vice versa. So we're going to re-roll the weather, or spend a re-roll changing the weather. Alright, compact display, add a combat unit. That was an A5. That is going to and it'll let us have to wait for that to... Okay, yeah, that's not updating. We're going to select and close, come down here, make sure the name is right in case we end up capturing that person. Configure. Do this the hard way. Alright. That should be it. We had one person with natural aptitude. Alright. Not wrong options. I wanted planetary options, not game options. We will change that to I didn't see. Oh, didn't scroll up far enough. We will change light snowfall to light rain, which I think is still going to benefit us a bit, not with the heat levels, but with the piloting roles, because I do, again, think that we have the advantage of better pilots. So, unless I'm forgetting something, multitasker, dodge, terrain master, there's no swamp, I don't think. Couldn't change that. Couldn't even look at the range master. Oblique artilleryman. You can increase the temp but leave snow in. Really? Okay, let's... Light snowfall. Okay. Oh, temperature. Okay, so what temperature can they survive at 0? Or I remember you showed me that chart that had the different levels. What was the one above -40? Or rather, what was the one where infantry can survive? And does it still affect heat levels? Can I just try something? We'll go with 80 degrees Celsius. Less than 30 degrees Celsius when using hail or snow. Okay. So, can we set that to 30? Less than 30. Can we go... try that. Yeah, alright. 29 degrees. Nice warm day. Still snowing. I wonder... Is that going to be any different from just, actually, what I would rather do, actually. So infantry, do they just die in negative temperatures? Can we do something like this? Because the difference between rain and snow, aside from the temperature difference, shouldn't be... Okay, conventional infantry platoons cannot be deployed outside a vehicle or building in temperatures that exceed 50 degrees or are less than negative 30 degrees. Okay, so we're going to set the temperature. We'll see what happens if we go negative 29 with a light snowfall. We will use our one reroll to adjust the temperature. And I appreciate the reference material there. So, now that that is sorted, and we've got 45 minutes now to get into this mission. You think we'd just pony up for winter gear, but we haven't learned since Stalingrad. You would think that there would be special infantry units that are capable of like having cold weather equipment that can survive, but I think that's just a blanket rule. Light snowfall. If a scenario takes place under such conditions, modify movement and combat as follows. Conventional infantry gets a +1 to hit. Extreme temperature, light snowfall automatically includes all modifiers and effects of -40 degrees Celsius. Cannot be used with thin tracer vacuum. Okay. There are snow seats and XCT infantry. Well, that is definitely something that I should have researched before now, but didn't. Alright. So getting into... Alright. So, we've got some friendly units here. We've got Hermes, the Brunel, the Carbine, and... Oh, I wish you guys would deploy more defensively. Also, I wish we would have eyes on some of the bad guys. We can... I think if we go here, we should get a good clear view of like this kind of region with some good range and not much place for them to hide. I also want to get some eyes on kind of more over in this direction, and I want that with some range, so we'll go here like that. So the question is, the snowsuits and the extreme cold temperature infantry, are they still capable of surviving in temperatures below -30, or does that rule just kill infantry instantly? Are they exempt is my question, I guess. Because that would be interesting. And that sounded like Discord. Okay, so we've got cold rifle platoon foot. We've got standard era 2500 plus. That should be more like 1950 plus. Cost half a million C-bills for 28 dudes. Comes with auto rifles and snowsuits. Okay. So if I get 28 snowsuits, would I be able to equip infantry? Okay, cold gear and spacesuits make them exempt from the temperature rule. Okay, Finnish ski infantry. I'm sure you guys have heard the story that's been making the rounds of the Finnish soldier who was running from the Russians on skis, and he was holding his unit's entire supply of methamphetamines, and he took them and he went on like a 2-week bender running away from the Russians. Snyder, hi, how's it going? Glad you could join us. Welcome to the community. Done 15 years in the Canadian Army. I promise you infantry can be deployed in less than -30. I believe it. Yeah, I've been in the field in snow before, but -30 was, oh, like Maryland was cold, but not that cold. So yeah, glad you could join us. If you haven't already, you're welcome to hit up the Discord and join the discussion there. We talk about generally quite a few different kinds of topics. Meantime, where am I going to put these guys? I need to make a custom unit with snowsuits and then transfer the troopers over. Okay. I've never actually created a custom infantry unit before, so that is something I would have to look into. But yeah, generally when it comes to infantry, I'm content to just hire them as they come up on the unit market. But I've never seen cold weather troops come up on the unit market, on the personnel market. So that kind of leads to some interesting questions, like what other units are there that are never happened to come up on the market? Because I know the unit market, where you purchase like the mechs and vehicles that come up for sale, there are certain things that never come up there either. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know they exist. Oh, heck. Well, guys, I done screwed up. We're not deploying until round 10. There's no way we're taking on 4 lances of enemies with just infantry. So I apologize for wasting your time. Let's try this one more time. Maybe I can at least get the mission started and save it so that we can pick up next time. I didn't even notice. Yeah, I remember now seeing all of these alternating lines here. So, yes. As soon as you're done, thank you. The default infantry built into the game are a bit sparse. All the ones I use are custom, and officially all infantry you can build as custom count as canon within tech availability. I'm Koivunen. Yes, that is the name I remember reading in the article that I read. Raw birds and pine nuts, stepped on a landmine. Those are all parts of the story that I read, yeah. Lived and died of old age. Alright, so first things first, we fix the most recent mistake first. Configure all. We are at the base, we are defending. We are not actually out on like patrol when they attack or something. World War II generation just built different. Yeah, I believe it. Okay, next step is the A5 Stinger LAM that we add to here. Select and close. Go and find her. Configure. That is okay. Stats look right. Okay. There's a griffin around here somewhere with natural aptitude that he's not allowed to have. Basically, Battletech rule designers, I'm saying I want rules for combat math. Extra movement, penalties to accuracy. That would be my ruling if I were a DM, which I'm not. I'm letting the computer be the DM. I'm just playing. Alright, so I think, oh no, that's not everything. Don't let me go and screw that up. So we're gonna go negative 29, so our infantry don't all die immediately. And we are, I think, ready to go. Second verse, same as the first. Something like that. Third time is the charm. I don't... Okay, so I noticed there is significantly less cover this time. The town is a little bit off-center in the direction I don't really want it to be. Artificial pain shunt plus foot cavalry SPA? Yeah, I mean, sounds about right. I'm not sure about the pain shunt, but the foot cavalry SPA gives them extra movement. And then just, I don't know, just give them a slightly lower gunnery skill. Or it would be a small arms skill, specifically. Alright, so we've got some autocannon 5 dudes with some range. I want them guarding to the top left because that's where I saw the bad guys deploy the first time. And the first turn we're moving into that rough spot. Let's see. We will have not the 10. We want the guys with range here. We'll deploy that. We still don't have eyes on any bad guys yet. But actually, let me just check something. Okay, allies starting in the center, bad guys starting in the south and the west. Okay, I was worried that one of them might be starting on the edge or something and I'd have to worry about like the north and east side, but it's all going to be south and west. 39th here is a ski combat corps, but I don't think they ever deployed in Donbass over here in Ukraine. It's really nice that MekHQ allows you to overrule the temperature for weather. I thought it said that we're not overruling, that we're changing the temperature, but the snow is allowed up to 30 degrees Celsius, I thought. That's what I read. I don't want to deploy field gunners into one of these buildings because I've seen them fall into the basement, although actually 77, they're not that heavy. How heavy are they? They are 55 tons. So as long as this building doesn't take more than 22 points of damage, yeah, we can deploy there and shoot out the windows. The temperature of minus 40 was only there because you had snow. Okay. Well, that to me doesn't feel like a rule issue. That feels like a random generated thing. Because I don't believe that Battletech includes rules for randomly generating scenarios, does it? This is all just the MekHQ devs doing MekHQ dev things. All right, 55 tons. I kind of want these guys over here in this corner as well. All right. But these guys I feel like are a little more valuable, so I want them in maybe the heaviest building I can find. Which looks like it's going to be this one, but I don't like how this one's next to the cliff there. $69 there. We've got, well, maybe a little bit of an arc of fire down this way, but not much. There's not as much rough here as I would like. I definitely want better cover. I think we're just going to go here and try to cover as much of this kind of arc as we can for the time being. If the campaign just holds out another 4,000 years, we can finally start buying Votoms. Yeah, but Votoms seem like really low tech compared to the average mech. Like, I haven't seen them using lasers or like mask. They didn't, I guess I didn't see any scenes of like the view screens or anything, but I didn't get the impression that they had like advanced targeting or anything like that. Do they? Alright, we've got a nice mobile assassin up here. We can start him just kind of wherever and he can pop around. And he was a 3, no, he was a 4-6. So he's not a great shot or pilot. It looks like our allies are kind of all massing here, facing the wrong friggin' way for bad guys coming from the south. I think I'm going to have the archer deploy here so he can maybe be a little evasive as he comes this way to try to cover as much of this corner as possible, because that's potentially, I'm thinking that most of the bad guys are going to be coming from this corner, because the guys on this side can all line up over here and the guys on this side can all line up over here. So potentially all of the bad guys could be coming from right here. God, you're correct. Just joking around, they're trash on purpose. They do have lasers, but they are large and bulky, typically requiring charges. Yeah, the roller dashers, I remember seeing that in the animation. And those actually look really cool. That's something that I think a mech should be able to get away with, especially something light, like a Stinger or a Locust should be able to just like scoot around like that. Like in the MechWarrior games or at least the MechWarrior games that I'm used to, like MechWarrior 2, where you have jump jets, you can decide, depending on which button you press, whether to go up or like forward with those jump jets, and you can like scoot around faster than you can run with those jump jets, which is something you can't really do in the tabletop. Sounds like Heavy Gear. Heavy Gear. Wait, I'm thinking of Guilty Gear. I was about to say that's a fighting game, but no, that's something else entirely. All right, how do I want to do this? I guess again, Stalker being a big deal. A lot of the combat maneuvers in the show are done with the dashers. It's basically how they survive. Oh, direct inspiration to Heavy Gear. So that explains why they are reminiscent of each other. I wish I knew where at least some of the bad guys were, though. This is kind of... Like, I know I'm concentrating all in this corner, but then again, the guys on this side could all come from here. The guys on this side could all come from here. So... what is it they say? Information is ammunition? It is no joke. It really isn't. So we've got the Archer there, we've got the Stalker there. Hunchback, being a close-range mech, suffers from 9 hexitis. Yeah, I want him to be as close to where the action is as possible. The Awesome doesn't really need to be as close to the action, so we'll go ahead and put him there, with the Orion on the other flank, just in case. Starting off, I guess, here, so he can kind of swing around this way if he needs to. Alright, we have absolutely obliterated our team, the initiative. That came out in the wrong order, but all the words were there. Our team has absolutely obliterated the initiative. Everyone's at 100%. Fog level is none. Light snowfall. Yes, the sniper turret is doing its thing, and is it going to tell us where they're going? Okay, now you'll stop jumping around, please. So we've got sensor returns down here. So it looks like my AI buddy is better positioned than I am, even if he is facing the wrong way. I might have to turn off the isometric view because this is getting a little glitchy here. And it looks like, yeah, both snipers are landing there. Alright, so first things first, I kind of want to wait a minute or two, I mean like a turn or two. The name Votams is a joke. In Japanese pronunciation it's pronounced like Botams, which is a joke how the soldiers are on the bottom of the totem pole. That checks out. Alright, so I'm going to start off by having most of my infantry just hanging out and making the moves that I know they're going to want to make, like this guy into cover, like this guy chilling here, covering that flank. These guys maybe start making their way down here to this. They've still got a fairly clear firing arc down to about here. Yeah, I'm going to start moving the autocannon 10 down into this spot. 28, 25. 28, 29. God, if I can barely read that, I know you guys can't. These guys are gonna chill. And the archer. Now, I still don't have anything on radar except for these 5 dudes here. So... go ahead. Start moving this way. And then if they do come from the north, at least we're not too far out of position. At least for a turn. 30 hex visual range and light snowfall. Looks like 15. Because each of these color bands is 5 hexes, so we've got this kind of grassy green, then kind of like a forest green, and then a pine green. That's only 80% of the pine green, so that's 14 hexes. On a wide river, assault and battle tech was quite bloody. Interesting. Like how wide? Are we talking like 5 hexes to where like a griffin or someone could jump across it? Or are we talking more like 20 hexes where boats are nothing, or walking along the bottom? Very curious to know how that went. That sounds like a lot of fun. Around 5? Okay, so like a stinger or a wasp could get across in 1 turn, but someone like a guillotine would have below it dams. Okay, so like different elevations, different heights to the water. That's really interesting. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Chain racks to the cliffs to get the Votums to skate up them, but like reverse repelling. Cool. Awesome, at least, is in a wonderful position for repelling borders over here. That's kind of steep, but that's fine. That's fine. He's not gonna have a shot this turn anyways. Okay, we've got more blips over here. We got a hunchback over here. That's the 4H. That's the one with the autocannon 10. Autocannon 10, 4 medium lasers. And that's actually the one that Lark was saying he wanted until I showed him the custom variant that I had, which has an autocannon 20 and double heat sinks and 4 medium lasers. And he said, no, that's the one I want. And I mean, that could end up biting us in the butt, because with the autocannon 20 and 4 medium lasers, it has massive damage output, but no range. So that could get interesting. So we've got the Stalker down here. We've got the Orion. Orion should be able to handle a hunchback. The Stalker, meanwhile, has 3 blips over here to handle. We've got the Awesome over here and some field gunners and the Archer to take out these, it looks like 6 blips. Yeah, 6 blips. So Stalker going to walk forward and hope somebody comes into range, probably next turn, or actually he's gonna stand still. He's gonna walk forward next turn so he can have a little bit of evasion and get these guys into sight all at the same time. For right now, at this kind of range, I'm not too worried about evasion because I don't think they're gonna be able to shoot me. However, the hunchback definitely wants to get as close as possible, as fast as possible. And they just get mowed down with machine gun fire. The whole beach invasion is beautiful. What can I say? Silent is a good mech salesman. I wasn't even trying to sell it. I just said, hey, I've got a mech variant that's got double heat sinks, and he saw it and said, yeah. Okay, we've got some LRMs on the Assassin, but more than anything, we want to be as evasive as possible. Trebuchet, friendly, running and turning on pavement. Sorry, I got a text. Sniper has not landed yet because that'll be turn 2. We have, okay, we've got the Stinger LAM, we've got an Assassin, a Trebuchet, a Hetzer, and a Phoenix Hawk, and an unidentified over here, but none of them are in range of the autocannon. We've got Hunchback over here. What do we need to hit him? Impossible. Alright, because he's out of range. We can see him, but he's not in range. Other field gunners. We've got a Phoenix Hawk here that is outside of visual range. How about this Stinger? Just had to check my cam for a second. Yeah, nothing. Can't see nothing. These guys might be able to see something. How about this Orion? Nope, nothing. Okay, someone's taking a shot. What's going on here? We've got the Blackjack with his autocannon 2s firing at the Trebuchet. And we've got a Phoenix Hawk firing presumably a large laser at the Brunel dump truck. So if those guys can see each other, maybe someone else can see something as well. We've got 14s to hit the Phoenix Hawk. That's not going to happen. That's going to be 14s and 15s. Okay, yeah, that's as small as that goes. I can't shrink that out of the way anymore. Can we maybe see something over here? Maybe someone turned on a spotlight. Okay. We've got 11s and 12s on the Orion, but we only have 12 rounds worth of ammunition, so I have to ask, is it worth launching 2 shots of LRM 20 ammo? I'm gonna say yeah. There's a chance that we'll kill that guy outright. It's a slim chance, but there's always that golden BB. You get lucky enough. Oh yeah, you're standing behind a cliff. You can't see nothing. You might actually have eyes on this hunchback up here, but I doubt it. No, you've got an 11, and we've got 20 rounds of ammo for that, so we're gonna take it. And the LRMs on the Orion are, I mean, with it, the Orion has less ammo for his LRM than the Archer has for his, but the Orion is trying to get up close so that he can stop using his LRMs, whereas the Archer is trying to stay far away and keep using his LRMs. So that's the rationale behind questioning whether it's worth firing the LRMs off the Archer, but not so much the Orion. And the Stalker, his closest target is this Phoenix Hawk, and that is outside of visual range, so we got no shot there either. Hunchback is not in range of anything, because even with extended range, that's only 12 hexes. And the Assassin with some LRMs maybe. Outside of visual range. I know, yeah, there's no way you can see that either. Alright, so first round, 11s and 12s. Oh my goodness, the Orion actually hit the Hunchback in the head. Nice. That was a lucky shot. Orion works well as an Archer bodyguard. Targets are damned if they close, damned if they don't. Yeah. It is kind of unfortunate that I kind of put them on opposite sides of the deployment zone. But in this case, I didn't know where the enemies were. I wanted to cover as much ground as possible, even if it means being spread a bit thin. So we're not punching buildings at this point. If it comes down to it, we might have to, but I don't think it will. Yeah, Phoenix Hawk jumped and fired a large laser. He's old school, he's running single heat sinks. Phoenix Hawk is a great mech once you put double heat sinks on it, but with single heat sinks, it's a little underwhelming. Because even if you keep the large laser silent, if you jump and fire just the 2 mediums and the 2 machine guns, you're still building up heat already, just from that. And that's a little hard to swallow in my book. I like mechs that are better balanced, that are able to fire everything and only build up a little bit of heat so that they can use all of their guns more consistently. Keeping a medium laser or 2 silent for, you know, a turn or 2 is one thing. But the Orion, especially in its stock configuration with the 10 heat sinks, I mean, like, it had the autocannon 10, the 2 medium lasers, the SRM 4, and if it moves, that's, you know, building up 4 points of heat without the LRMs. and you can only do that once. And then after that, you have to keep one or even two of the medium lasers silent, and that just doesn't sit well with me. These guys are... Actually, can they... Not so... Well... Okay, yeah, they're gonna move there, and then next turn, and then the next turn, and then the next turn, I think. In the meantime, they're undercover at least. These guys, with the autocannon 5, actually visibility is going to be really poor for the field gunners because they don't have sensors or anything. So those guys actually might be a bit less useful than I had anticipated. Same with these guys. But I am going to keep them still, at least for now, just so that they can take a shot if it becomes available. All these fancy mechs, I say we reinstate the Davy Crockett Infantry Portable Nuke program. There are rules for it, but there are also rules governing its use by, say, Comstar. And as it Tirek is constantly saying, or is it Baradol? I forget. But one of them is always talking about how you gotta behave or Comstar will come school you. And I don't know. If we were to just nuke this whole town, I feel like that would be pretty much the same as failing the mission. And that means we don't get paid. I'm not cool with that. I want to get paid. Gots to get paid, man. Moderately evasive at a run. Yeah, these hills are slowing everyone down very significantly, except for the assassin. The assassin, I think, is the only thing on my team with jump jets. Alright, Stalker, yes, try to get a little evasion. That only happened a couple times, and it was like 5 points, usually. Make it sound like I legged you or something with artillery. That didn't happen. Where can we go where we've got a shot? And how far ahead of that Stalker do we really want to get? I mean, we're max armor for a 50-tonner, but I don't want to go toe-to-toe with a 60 and a 75-tonner by myself, especially not when there's another Hunchback and 3 more blips and a Phoenix Hawk on the horizon. I'm going to hold off on that for now and see what, if maybe there's something that we can respond to instead. Assassin, however, can jump for 7, which is hugely evasive. A little bit, it feels a little less risky to advance with the assassin because it's better able to pull back in a hurry and it's less likely to get hit even if it does get shot at. Excuse me, I got the hiccups suddenly. Doesn't mean you... No, I didn't like it. Oh, like dropping artillery danger close would be accurate to IRL military. I once had an officer try to order me to fire a grid that was literally on top of us once. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but dropping nukes would make the game less fun. And I hate to say it, but we are trying to win strategically as much as possible. Granted, I do play it a lot more like an RPG where it's okay to grind for levels a bit, to use a JRPG turn of the phrase. But I would rather play a game of chess where I have more pieces than my opponent than just drop a nuke on the board. That's not chess anymore at all. I like having the advantage. I like having better pilots and better mechs than my opponent. But I feel like I earned it to a degree by spending the time grinding. I don't know. I guess it doesn't make sense, but it's fun for me. The sniper has hit the enemy Hetzer in the rear for 10 points and the enemy Griffin in the head. So that's 2 headshots out of, what, 3 successful attacks so far. We've had 2 headshots. Because the LRMs hit, and then the 2 sniper rounds hit. Yeah. Alright, yeah, you can't see anything. Blocked by terrain, nothing else is going to be in range. Oh, we have... I didn't even see those guys up there. We have a Crusader and a Wolverine have joined the fray. However, the Crusader is not in range, out of visual range. Well, dang. Yeah, okay, let me try to make this a little more visible for you guys. It occurred to me that my face was in the way. Sorry about that. You guys aren't going to be able to see much of anything either, are you? Actually, you know what? I kind of want to just pop this here and just use it as I need it. I feel like that might affect my situational awareness. Semper Gumby, always flexible. No nukes in battle tech for me. Hearts and minds. So outside of range, yeah. Enemy assassin blocked by terrain. We've got outside of range. So that's just going to be, everything else is going to be out of range, of course. Alright, starting with, I guess, the big guns. We've actually got a shot on this assassin or the stinger. Now, normally I would go for the assassin because those things are so fragile, but the stinger is also going to be super fragile. And in fact, we also have this Hetzer here, which we might be able to cripple entirely. I think I want to take out that stinger if I can. If I recall, he's got a bunch of medium lasers, right? Stinger LAM has, yeah, 3 medium lasers. So I'd like to... I feel like he's more of a threat than the assassin, because the assassin has the LRMs, which are honestly kind of useless. It has the SRMs, which are kind of useless. And honestly, in my experience, assassins just spend so much time jumping that they have a hard time hitting with much of anything. So yeah, we're just gonna fire at the stinger for now. We've got the stalker over here. Carpethice, how's it going? Glad you could join us. Welcome to Lurk. Unfortunately, it is coming up on the time where I was about to save the game. Yeah, but it looks cool. Checkmate, Battletech Strategist. Yeah, we are just about to wrap this up and save it for next week. There's no way I'm gonna finish this battle tonight. It's just already getting late, and we just started. Never mind the fact that it was my fault for screwing up the beginning of this battle like 4 times. Not that I was counting or anything. So no range on him. It says target out of range, but which target was that? Was that, I think we've got 12s on the assassin, which is not great. I wouldn't waste the ammo on that. We've got 11s on the rifleman. Honestly, I feel kind of bad for missing on those first 2 shots. And we're down to 11 rounds of ammo for the archer. I'm gonna hold off for now. Not with that attitude. I don't think attitude has anything to do with it. It's the fact that I've got 5 minutes for what is probably going to be like a 3-hour battle. Okay, 3 hours is probably an exaggeration, but point being. Yeah, although if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, we do have a Discord. We can weigh in. I've actually got a few things that we've been talking about in the Discord as far as like scheduling, as well as like organization. There's been a lot going on as far as like acquiring new mechs and things like that. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad I could reintroduce you, as it were. It's funny because it's true. Uh, we're gonna say, well, you know what? We're not gonna save over that. We're gonna save that for posterity's sake. We are going to save this as Challenger Deep base time. Because time is why we stopped playing, not like because we were planning on saves coming or anything like that. Alright, so that is saved. Save game has been sent to you. Okay. What happens if we save it on the server? Save game time.save. Save to save games. Okay, so the Challenger shallow. Alright, so with that said, no, we just saved it twice. So we're also going to save this here, and we should be on, yeah, this is going to be a new file because we're on a new day, and we are ready to wrap it up. I know it's just been a couple of minutes shy, but if there's any housekeeping or anything that we need to take care of, you know, we can BS around a little bit for a few minutes. Not nice to know I'm not the only one who makes 50 saves. Can I just show you something? Was it? Oh no, it wasn't here. It was here. This is just the ones that didn't fit into one of these categories. There's also all of these. There's rather a lot of Fighting Bulldog saves. And this is just from 48, which is not even the version I'm using. And then also these from 49, which I've been using lately. This actually, I'm kind of proud of this save. This is when I landed on Santander 5 for the contract against the clans. So that was fun. Have my game save every day. Yeah, there's the auto save every day, and that cycles 10 save game slots. But then these are all manual saves on top of that. And yeah, you'll notice, because the Fighting Bulldogs, being a larger and more complex unit, has a lot more going on with each day, so I spend longer on each day, and so saving with the same frequency results in a save every day instead of every week, which is kind of what the Challenger Deep does. And I mentioned in the Discord earlier, but I feel like probably in about a year's time, about this time next year, I'll probably be in this place with the Challenger Deep that I'm at with the Fighting Bulldogs now, which is 7 lances, super elite pilots, plenty of support and some aerospace and stuff like that. And that really does kind of start to bog down to where every day takes significantly longer to play through just because there's so much more going on. Oh yeah, this one is called No XP because I ran into a glitch where when I tried to advance the day from, what is that, I guess September 30th to October 1st, instead of the daily report telling me, oh, so everyone gained an XP or whatever, instead of that, it said it was September 30th again. And it was just really buggy, so I didn't get any of my normal XP for that month. But yeah, this is kind of like a geological record of like if I wanted to go back to a certain point in time, I could and see where I was. And at some point, I would like to try to take you guys through some of that. I think that would be a lot of fun to just kind of start with, you know, where we're at now, and then like advance time, hypothetically speaking. And I do play a bit more loose with a lot of the rules with the Fighting Bulldogs, just because it is more for fun and like testing and things like that to see what works and what doesn't work. And so, yeah, like I do a bit of save scumming, and I'm a little bit more lenient on myself. I don't limit myself to just 4 transport bays, for example. Everything is in a transport bay. It's no big deal for me there. Just because it's so much quicker and easier. But, so, I mean, I don't expect the Challenger Deep to progress quite as fast. But I think it would be a good glimpse into where we could be headed if we get lucky. So, with that, I do appreciate everyone joining me for tonight. And yeah, I've got actually kind of a lot going on in my life right now, but I will definitely be here at a minimum next week for the Challenger Deep. I appreciate everyone joining me. Yes, Battletech tomorrow night. There might be an announcement in the Discord regarding that. I am starting a new job. I don't know exactly what my schedule is going to look like right now. There is an informal poll in the official use channel. Thank you. There is and like I said, an informal poll in the official use channel where I've asked what days are preferable to you for the HBS Battletech game. So do let me know your thoughts on that. I'm going to try and keep my schedule the same, but if I can't, I am going to try to prioritize what I am able to get based on what works for you guys. So with that, thank you all for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow. I will definitely see you next week. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, be a part of the community, join the Discord, all that good stuff. And with that, good night, y'all. I appreciate having y'all.